Get him! So basically, the leader of this pack of survivors, they basically turn their attention to Colonel Hauser, and he's starting to argue and refute that no one knows for sure what she has. It could be the flu, it could be the infection. For all he knows, we've all been infected now by this girl being here. Whether it be this dead sickness that's consumed most of the world, or the flu. Is the flu going to kill us? Is it even the flu? Is it something worse? And he says he doesn't want to take
space herpes.
He doesn't want to. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't want to take any kind of. He doesn't want to take any chances. He's exclaiming. And he says, I've just had about enough of this. He goes, you guys aren't in control anymore. He goes, we outnumber you, so we are going to be in control now. So he basically, this guy standing right in front of you, Lord, as you're going, yeah, this is all bullshit. I don't know how you'd be saying it, but all of a sudden this guy starts.
This is all damn bullshit.
Hey, whoa, guy with a G, we've already talked, me and you. Corporal Hauser says that. This guy, and there's, in this group of survivors, there's, people are holding crowbars now and shit because of all of the supplies from the from up on the second floor, all of those, crowbars and shit. So, they're holding brooms, mops, whatever,
Baseball bats.
Yeah, this guy, not a baseball bat, but this guy has a crowbar, and he moves right past the soldiers, and he's walking right towards that door. And it's unfortunate, but one of the soldiers turns and pops a couple rounds into this guy. And Hauser's screaming for him to stop. Don't shoot! But as he does that, a couple rounds go off. The guy falls over dead. Blood is kind of starting to, ooze out from his corpse on the floor. And so now the damage has been done. So now the rest of the crowd is really not happy.
I'm gonna loot the body.
They're starting to raise their pitchforks, raise their torches and shit. They're wanting the head of the you just cold-blooded murdered that guy. And the corporal says, no, that was not murder. I made an order. This guy ignored the order, so he had to pay the price. This is the way the world is now, people. There's no more
Screw
organization.
the military.
So you have you basically have an M16 that's just been levied right towards you, Guile. But you know that there's a couple doors that aren't blocked, and you could probably make a run for it. And just as this is all going down, this is going on for about 15 to 20 minutes. So I'll let you guys kind of talk about what's going on, because Rose, you're kind of hanging around with Steve and Sam now, so you're kind of they're kind of like growing on you. So what are you guys discussing as all this is going on? So there's like about a 15 to 20 minute period that after this guy's been killed in cold blood, and to where the point that we're at now. So I'll let you guys have some time to kind of talk about this.
Steve and Rose here.
Where were we at right now after it's been 20 hours? Are we in the quarantine room, or are we still outside the offices?
You guys are outside of the offices, and we'll go ahead and I'll put your tokens down on to give you sort of like a sense of where you're at.
Well, if the other guys didn't, I'm moving away from the crowd.
Yeah,
mobs are dangerous.
Yeah, the mob is pretty much on the northern side of the warehouse. along the bays and in the central area. And as the shots are fired, several of these people kind of run, take cover behind other pallets and hide. You can hear some crying in the background. So it's sort of like a chaotic scene. And I would imagine this would probably really happen.
Sounds very similar to a situation that nobody here is seeing on a cruise ship.
So I'm assuming Jax is Guy with G.
That's Velcor's character. He's kind of here, and Corporal Hauser. He's over here. His 3 men.
Guys, we got to do something about this mob. They're getting out of control, and they're gonna kill that girl if we don't do something.
I don't think the military is gonna let it happen. I believe looks like a standoff between the mob and the military.
Well, there's 4 of them, and a couple of us. Are we gonna be able to stop 40 people?
I don't intend to stop 40 people.
There's probably about 15 people hiding or so. So there's probably about 20 to 25.
And where am I at this point?
You are... Let's see. Your token, Guile, is... Oh, I thought I put you up there. I'm sorry about that, Guile. Your token is freaking awesome, man. Sorry. Yeah, you're about up here, Guile. You're with the rest.
He looks so angry.
With the rest of the mob, yeah. So let's take a break right now. Let's take about a 10-minute break. What are you guys doing? This guy was just shot down by one of the soldiers, by one of Colonel Hauser's soldiers.
Well, my character knows that no amount of saying anything is going to do anything, only action at this point. So I'm actually just going to kind of step right here, look at my fellow group mates, and just be quiet at this moment.
Alright.
Anyone else want to do or say anything there?
Steve, Rose?
I'd just like to start looking for maybe an exit strategy here in case things start going south. We can grab the girl and get out.
Yeah, you know that these elevators, Steve, are right down south. There's a door that was left unlocked. So you would know that. Like I had said, some of the other survivors, there's probably a crowd, probably a little over 20 people, probably 20, 25 people, and they had kind of dispersed when this guy was shot. Some of them ran back and took refuge into the pallets and whatnot. Some of them are still kind of holding up their crowbars or their pitchforks and their torches and stuff like that. Getting on the torches and the pitchforks, but I'm not. Yeah, they do have crowbars and stuff, so pipes, whatever. Rose.
Well, I mean, she knows that there's no way that she can go look at the girl now. So she's just kind of standing there staring in shock.
No. All right. So as this confrontation of bantering of words back and forth are going on, all of a sudden, everybody's radio, comes on and says there is a massive amount of of these walkers that are coming over the hill, and are now banging onto the fence and trying to push the fence over. And it seems the fence is holding up for now, but the guys on top, you can hear as they're talking, you can hear, so you can hear more gunfire. You can hear a lot more gunfire going off and whatnot. And the corporal says, how the colonel says, how bad is this? And there's like they're starting to surround two sides of basically of the warehouse. And he says there are hundreds, and it looks like there are more. He says all of a sudden we heard a couple of gunshots, and then they started trickling in, and then there's just more and more, and so there's like we're starting to look like we're going to start being surrounded here in a little bit, so we need to think about doing something. So go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, Sam, you were talking to the colonel. Do you think you got enough relationship with him now to talk him into letting us sneak a couple of those cars out of here? Maybe we can get out before the zombies get in.
They have plans of those vehicles. They would like to use them, as for all of us.
Yeah, there's a
they're
total.
not going to let us just take them by ourselves.
Yeah, it's like the colonel was telling you, Sam, and Steve, you were there as well, and Rose. The colonel does want to keep this group together because survival is in numbers, and he and his 3 men are not going to be able to handle everything by themselves. So, he does say that all of you have survived long enough. You know how to handle yourselves. You know how to handle yourselves with weapons. You know how to not let your your emotions and your feelings come over you. So you seem to have yourselves in check, and that's why he wants to keep this sort of like this group together. And as soon as he says that, the radio comes back on and says the northern gate's been pushed over, and these zombies or whatever they are, they're starting to make their way towards to us. And he also says that there are some that are literally running on they're running on 2 feet and kind of using their hands also to move quickly, much quicker than the normal zombies or these walkers or shamblers that they've encountered. And the guys on the top said, we think it's time, it may be a good time to move. And just as this is going on, old Guile says, fuck this, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I don't know, whatever you say, Guile. Can't hear you. Can't hear you there, Guile. Your mic is muted. Yellow.
This better?
Yeah. So Guile makes a break for it. Well, Guile, what do you say? And the other soldiers.
Screw this! I'm going out.
Yeah. So Guile, he runs for the office. Guile actually gets past the soldiers because the soldiers are preoccupied with the rest of the crowd, and Guile gets to the door and opens the door, slams it. The glass on the door shatters. The big pane of glass shatters, and he goes into this office area. And you can hear things being, thrown, stuff shattering and whatnot. And the corporal, he's like, "Holy shit, we've Guile with a G. What the hell? I told you." So the corporal now will start to go after Guile also, and the soldiers, and he's telling his men, we need to fall back. We need to go to Plan B. We need to get the hell out of here. And he's throwing a couple of these. He gets into his pocket and he throws a couple sets of keys at his guys, and he's like, "Let's get out of here. Take the southern exit. Let's get out of here." And he looks towards you and looks towards Rose, Sam, Steve. Says, "Plan B. We've got to look out for ourselves. We've got to get out of here. Get your shit. This place is compromised. We got to get out of here now." And then he goes on to say, "I shouldn't have fired those goddamn shots." So he goes off. He goes off after Guile. So as everybody start, his soldiers start to fall back. Also, what are you guys going to do? Because you see this now all of a sudden, as the soldiers are kind of tactically retreating back, they're telling everybody to stay away, and then they're saying, "You're just going to abandon us. You're gonna leave us to die." And you can see that this door over here on the eastern side of the warehouse is starting to push in, and the door is taller than the pallets that are blocking that door, because that's one of the the blocked doors. And this roll top door is just, it's just rocking back and forth, and you can hear that this thing is starting to give. So what are you guys doing, Sam and Steve?
Oh, first thing I'm doing is grabbing up supplies, what we've already packed up.
Yep, gotcha.
I'm grabbing that, and
Okay.
I want to keep myself. Well, I want to keep the soldiers between us and the crowd at the moment.
Okay, so yeah, you guys all have. Sorry to interrupt you there, Sam. Everybody has their backpacks. Everybody also has 2 of those really nice cloth bags that you can buy at your local friendly grocery store. So everybody also has 2 Winn-Dixie bags full of like canned goods, other cans of Sterno, matches, all that stuff. So little Sam, the survivor that he is, Sam's taking care of everybody. Everybody has a couple bags extra of supplies also. So the soldiers tactically retreat. This other door inside here was blocked, and you can see the corporal. He does pull his gun on Guile, and just as he says, "Guile, don't open the door," he pushes the rest of the the table that was kind of propped up against it. Guile's a pretty strong guy. This dude is like 6'7", big guy, about 280, 300 pounds. He basically just takes this desk and throws it through one of the other, corporate offices. It just shatters, and he opens the door. And just as he opens the door, you can hear outside of the door, and the corporal says, "We have to move now." So the corporal and his men go out of the door. You can see Guile. Guile's got like 2 crowbars in his hands. Guile's like loaded to the hilt with metal, and Guile is literally just destroying these zombies. As these zombies are coming into him, Guile is just smashing the brains of these zombies. Guile gets down, and as you guys are starting to pour out of the warehouse also, you can see by the time Rose, you get out, you're the last person to get out. You can see that there's damn near almost a dozen of these shamblers that are standing around Guile, and he's sort of standing on.
Outside now?
Yes, everybody's all outside now.
What of the girl?
Yeah, and the other people that were in the RV with
Yeah,
us.
as you guys were starting to pull, get out of there, you guys are also now starting to look back towards the crowd, because now they're starting to throw their crowbars and shit at you guys as you are, starting to leave, and then the pallets burst. Zombies are starting to flow into the warehouse. As you guys are into the office, you can start to hear screams as you shut the door behind you and lock it, shove a desk in front of it. One of the other soldiers goes down the hallway, goes into the last office, grabs little Sam, Old Man Joe, Gregory, his kids, and everybody makes it out. And just as Rose, you're the last person that makes it out, you can see that there is literally a pile of these zombies around this guy named Guile. Guile with a G. And Guile, he's putting up a hell of a fight. And he's sort of standing on the corner, and then all of a sudden, some of these, you remember hearing on the radio that there were these very fast zombies, and just as he takes his crowbars and turns around and screams whatever the hell he's screaming at this thing just runs, kind of takes him by surprise, and jumps on his chest, knocks him down to the ground, and at that time, 2 or 3 or more of these, these fast zombies start to go into a feeding frenzy on on Guile, and Guile starts to scream, and he's still, as they're feasting on his neck like a Chinese buffet at lunchtime, he's still swinging on these things with his crowbar, and he takes one more out, but he's been so mortally wounded, he takes one out. Then he takes another one, snaps his neck, gets up, drives the crowbar into his eye socket, and then, takes the last one out, and then he stands up and he's just covered with blood. He's got blood coming out of his neck, and then he just says whatever he says. What do you say, Guile? He's in amazement. He doesn't know what to say.
You're on mute again.
He's muted.
No, still can't hear you.
He's saying, "Fuck you, Dave, you killed me again." That's what he's saying. Anyway, Guile says, find my family, or whatever, find my family, and falls down on his knees. Falls down onto his knees like William Dafoe in Platoon, with his hands up, drops his last crowbar, and then all of a sudden gets just overwhelmed by these slow zombies that just encroach around the corner, and everybody's able to get past. There's really no zombies coming from the south, but they're all coming around the eastern side of the building. But they are all content with eating this poor Guile that wanted to find his family. So everybody gets to these cars. You guys have 4 fully gassed Winn-Dixie corporate cars. Corporal Hauser, you have your headsets, extra batteries, and you guys get the vehicles moving.
Yeah, I point out that the quarantined people should probably be in one vehicle.
Sure, you could put
by themselves.
Sure, you could put Joe, Greg, the 2 kids, and Samantha. They're all in one car. And then Sam, Steve, Rose, you're all in one car. And then the soldiers are in 2 different cars. So you have a total of 4 cars. You guys just barely managed to escape. Well, yet again, barely escape.
And just as soon as we get away, the place blows up.
No, it doesn't. No.
Oh.
No. I mean, I can make that happen if you want. These sprinters, as you guys are just starting to pile in, you can see that these sprinters are actually pursuing your vehicles. And these things, you've never seen these. These are fast. These are fast as that baby that you had seen back in the church. And these things are still running after you, and you guys eventually pull far enough ahead because you guys are, weaving around cars that are, back on the main road and whatnot. And, even though you can't see, this sea of living dead that surrounded the distribution center, you guys could hear the screams of the survivors that were still inside being torn apart. Especially you, Rose, as you push that desk in front of the door, a couple of the survivors were, trying to get that door open, and you just kind of looked at them, and all of a sudden, a couple shamblers came from around the corner, and blood was starting to spray onto the office windows, and organs were being flown into the air. Yes, exactly.
We've seen things.
Just an image that you just soon will not forget, Rose. So you guys are on the road for about another hour, hour and a half, and Corporal Hauser, he gets onto the radio and tells everyone to pull over. You know, there's a very nice, desolate, very dark stretch of road. You know, everyone pulls over. Everybody gets out, really quiet, and it's up to floor is y'all's. You know, little Michael and Zachary, they're shaking and kind of, you know, tears are still running down their cheeks, and you know, you see Samantha. Joe has said that in the past several hours it seems like maybe her temperature is starting to lighten up a little bit. And Greg's pissed off that the world's like it is, you know. And then Corporal Hauser, he says, you know, like I was telling little Sam, back at the distribution center, the Midwest does have designated safe zones. I know that's part of the protocol. You know, and I know that the government has established a few bases of operations in the Rocky Mountains. You know, he says, I really suggest to everyone that we have to stay clear of these major populated centers like Jacksonville. We have to make our way west. I'm sorry if you have family.
Thank you.
That is, we have to make our way west. We have to get out of the main bulk of the population of the eastern, you know, part of the United States. You know, we're not going to make it all the way. We don't know if there's going to be more fuel out there. We don't know what type of fuel is left. But we'll see what we can do on our way. You know, we may have to find replacement vehicles. We just don't know what's going to happen. So we have to think ahead. Even if our tank is almost full, if we find a vehicle, we have to top the tank off. We just don't know what's going to happen. So the floor is basically y'all's now.
I was going to say something. I forgot now.
Sure, go for it.
I forgot. Hold on. Maybe someone else can go.
Steve? Sam?
Do we have any idea where these safe zones are?
You're asking the Colonel?
Yeah, the Colonel, yeah.
I know that
anyone in particular we should head towards?
There are several, Steve, that are in the Appalachian Mountains. The Rocky Mountains, I'm sorry. Yeah, we want to get away from the Appalachian Mountains. We want to go to the Rockies.
I tell the Colonel that we also may want to be very careful going to the safe zones. It could be the government and our politicians that is responsible for this.
Oh, Sam, I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe that our country would be involved in something like that, especially as everything happened around the world at the same time, within a matter of several hours. I don't think that could be possible. I think it's a terrorist attack. That's what it would sound like to me. That's what it looks like to me.
Alright, I guess we head west. Guess we're
everybody else.
Convoy.
Mrs. Rose, what do you think, Mrs. Rose?
I think they never should have left Escanaba.
Who? Escanaba?
Escanaba.
Where the hell is that? Another country? Is that Spain?
It's Upper Michigan.
Ah, yeah. Upper Michigan, wow. What the heck are you doing down here in the South?
Was supposed to be on vacation.
What a vacation, huh? A vacation that you'll never forget. Alright, so you guys are, on the road for a couple hours. You're pretty much driving in almost darkness. Now, the roads are, you're taking the back roads. You have plenty of maps and whatnot. You'll be able to navigate yourself out west. Now, when you guys are getting back on the road, you know, Planet Lease is now kind of on the table. You know, you guys are, you know, going west. You know, the night sky